Hundreds more people are tonight in isolation after visiting a major supermarket in Sydney's west over the festive period. Testing capability in the area has been boosted with another 4 cases recorded today. And tonight there are fears the virus may have been carried into regional areas.
Lucky it's school holidays. Berala Public School turned into a pop-up COVID testing clinic, a rapid response to a growing outbreak.
The local community were telling me and other public health officials that if you didn't have a car or you weren't on the public transport route, it was difficult for them, so we've responded.
4 new cases have been found in New South Wales. 1 has been linked to the Croydon cluster, already in isolation, but 2 more with the Berala cluster, a man and a woman.
And there was a lady in her 40s who has visited the Woolworths at Berala but not the BWS.
Another patient is a contact of a Berala case.
I'm more worried about it, and I'm gonna go and get tested now.
It might make it easier for everyone if everyone just stayed home for like 2 weeks, just, so everyone can be at home, be safe.
The cluster has thousands caught up in it. Anyone who visited the BWS or the Woolworths next door between December 20 and the 31st needs to get tested and isolate until they receive a negative result. Some, there at specific times, need to get tested and quarantined for a full 2 weeks from their last visit, regardless of their test results.
And please continue to monitor for symptoms, and if they appear, get tested again.
It also appears the cluster has escaped to the country. A case tested positive after visiting the towns of Orange, Nyngan and Broken Hill.
Woke up, had a little bit of a runny nose yesterday, and then went out and got a test and did the right thing.
Berala is a small but incredibly diverse suburb. Locals and those nearby are working to contact those who might be in the dark about the virus threat.
We had to step in a number of community leaders to send that information in the language that people speak in the community.
We've created a list of vulnerable people in the community, usually older people that don't have immediate family to rely on, and we contact them just to do a welfare check.
Some businesses, already in a slump, are questioning whether it's even worth opening.
Well, in Berala now it's like a ghost town. It's affected our business a lot. Like there's no customers, everyone's avoiding Berala.
A handful of fines have been handed out in Sydney for not wearing a face mask. They include a man who police tried warning, but he allegedly swore and told them to fine him. They did. Jonathan Hare, ABC News, Sydney.
Residents in regional New South Wales are being told to look out for COVID symptoms after a Sydney man who was unknowingly infected with the virus travelled to the state's far west. Our reporter Joanna Woodburn joins us now from Orange. Joanna, where exactly did this man travel to?
Jeremy, the man started off in Broken Hill on Saturday. He attended a cafe called the Gourmet Gripton before driving to Nyngan, which is about 2 hours west of Dubbo. And he stayed at the Nyngan Riverside Tourist Park. Now, New South Wales Health has issued alerts for both of those locations as well as 2 petrol stations in those towns. The man then travelled here to Orange, where he attended the Birdie Noshery, and an alert has been issued for 12:30 till 2 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. The cafe here, or the bar here, and that in Broken Hill are both considered close contacts. And people who attended those venues during these particular times are being urged to get tested, isolate for the full 14 days. If they experience symptoms during that 14-day period, they have to get tested again before being tested at the end of the 14-day quarantine period, just to make sure.
And Joe, how are locals there feeling about this new COVID risk?
Well, this morning there are 2 COVID testing clinics here in Orange, one at the showground and one at the public hospital. And there were a few cars at the start of today. Within half an hour of Dr. Kerry Chant issuing that public health order, the lines started growing and they stayed quite long throughout the day. Certainly the one at the showground didn't really ease until it closed later this afternoon. It's been about 140 days or just over since Orange actually had the Western Local Health District had had a positive case of coronavirus. And so while things are a little bit more relaxed out here, people are staying quite vigilant, wearing masks, sanitising their hands, social distancing, because they are very aware of the number of tourists who we get out to this region because of the border closures and the lack of international travel. We can hear now from some of those Orange residents who we spoke to today.
I don't have any symptoms, so at the moment I'm comfortable, but if I had symptoms I would absolutely get tested.
I think for so long it's been really good here. We've felt fairly safe, but we also know a lot of tourists come into regional New South Wales, and with that brings potential increased risk.
I think we all have to be very aware of COVID and take it all very seriously.
So as you can see, people are on guard but not too alarmed.
Joe Woodburn reporting. Just 2 days out from this cricket test at the SCG, the New South Wales government has banned ticket holders from 6 suburbs in Sydney's west from attending the match. The affected areas are all around the Berala cluster, and the government's warning it could make more changes to the crowd rules.
Australia and India are back at the SCG and going through their final preparations for the crucial match. But the state government is still tinkering with its game plan for the third test.
We will be making decisions and possibly changes right up to the first ball being bowled.
Crowd numbers were cut yesterday, and now fans from the coronavirus hotspot of Berala have been told to stay away, along with residents from surrounding suburbs.
There will be health orders made in the next 24 hours that will enable New South Wales Police to fine you $1,000 if you put foot inside the SCG.
So be prepared to have to produce identification to demonstrate that you're able to be here.
The checks will start on public transport, and there will be more services running to the ground to avoid overcrowding.
Masks will be mandatory on public transport and when people are moving around the venue, but when they're in the seats, then they won't need to be masked.
The match is just 2 days away, but authorities haven't ruled out even more crowd restrictions as they closely monitor the Western Sydney outbreak. With the crowd still capped at 25%, the McGrath Foundation has come up with a new idea to help raise money at the Pink Test. The annual Jane McGrath Day for breast cancer nurses is going virtual. Fans can buy a pink seat that will have their name on it.
Anybody, no matter where they are in Australia, can get involved and be involved with a pink test.
Hopefully, the Pink Army will be back next year. Bindi Bryce, ABC News, Sydney.